Everyone, this is Sylvia Reyes. She is the Director of Special Programs, right? And she is actually my supervisor. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm also going to complete a few questionnaires to analyze your leadership approach with your subordinates and followers. Can you please provide me with a brief history of your professional experiences as a leader? Please describe where you began your career as a professional and how it has shaped you today and how your leadership has developed over time.
Well, just to answer your question, well, I started my professional career a while ago, like over 20 years. And my first job was within CUNY also. One thing that I learned early on that to engage people in the process is to be supportive, right? I was really lucky enough to be, having supervision from someone who believed that people could have autonomy and they could have a lot of input in the process of working together. So collaboration and autonomy are two key words in the way I conduct things for the most part.
Next question is, how would you define your leadership approach?
I like to share my leadership, I think. Like I don't like making decisions just on my own, although there's times when I need to. But again, I like to involve people in the process because I think without their input, the outcomes are not going to be as well as, if just me making a decision, right? So engaging everyone in developing the objectives that we want to accomplish and fulfilling those objectives and the action that we're going to take, right? The implementation process is key to getting something done. And everyone's participation is central to that process, for the decision-making process. So because that kind of, how do we translate the plan into action, right? Without the input and the support of everyone else, is really difficult.
Another question is, can you please describe some characteristics of a leader you exemplify?
So efficacy is one of those things, self-efficacy, right? I think that if I don't know how to do something, it will be very difficult for me to kind of show it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't know it myself or I don't understand it, I can't really ask someone else to do it. So I think that for me, self-direction and self-efficacy are two key values. Organization certainly, it's really important. Also, respect for others, right, and what they bring to the table. I'm trying to be not judgmental, but that's one a hard one sometimes still for me, right?
My next question is, can you describe your leadership skills in terms of technical, human, and conceptual skills?
Technical. Let me begin with that because those are the ones that, I think that we're all kind of developing those right now, given the world we live in, the online environment. We're developing new ones. I think I'm becoming an expert in Zoom, which I'm very proud of. Blackboard certainly is another one that we all have to learn to do programming. And so this is what the institution provides, certainly. But also I think maybe the technical skills could be writing, right? Writing skills, right? So I've been able to kind of run proposals, reports at the end of the year, every year. So one of the things that I think is important in consumptions, we have this strategic plan, right? But that we all kind of have to do. So part of that is how the strategic plan, how do our programs align with the goals of the strategic plan and hence supporting the mission of the college. So I think that's pretty clear in my head how this should fall into place. So I think that I could conceptualize something, from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I kind of enjoy because I think I could see something through in my head and put it through the implementation process. And in terms of humane, I think that I really, like I mentioned before, I like to collaborate. I like working in groups. I like to collaborate with people. And I try to be, respectful, and I like to listen. And really just kind of pick the brains to see where we go from there.
My next question is, can you please discuss your leadership behavior in connection to task-oriented leadership and relationship-oriented leadership?
The process has to be dynamic, right? How do you influence the process among individuals. So the idea for me, and I think that works, is like I want the group to lead one another, right? Because I think I think we all are held accountable, and we all as a group are able to achieve the goals that we have for ourselves in terms of the group and or the program, and in the end the goals for the institution, right? And I think that one way to do that, we have weekly meetings, just to give an example, and we follow up with each other, like what are we in this process, what are we in this process, and so we all kind of just ask it of each other, right?
When would you use a directive behavior versus a supportive behavior in response to developing your followers?
Key is to remember that we evolve at different paces, and some people are they build their skills faster than others, and sometimes you need to kind of let someone go and test what they think that they need to do, but sometimes you need to kind of bring them back and say, hey, let's I just need to clarify that maybe this is where we want to go, and probably maybe you want to try it this way, to see if it works. I mean, I do think that we constantly need to assess and reassess what we're doing, so that we could kind of correct what we do, and if that's not working, reflect through the process, and so that they can see where there could be improvement or not. I mean, I think supervision is key and support is key.
In regards to your path goal leadership, can you please explain when you would exemplify the following leadership styles? Directive style, supportive style, participative style, and achievement-oriented style.
Like I could give direction when it needs to. I'm going to be supported, through the process throughout the whole time, of course. But I will come in and jump in and give directions to get where we need to be. We're just trying to accomplish a goal here. And how can you support the goal? That will be my question, right? Well, how can you support the goal that we're trying to achieve? So being clear about what needs to be done really makes sense to me and whomever I'm working with. Mm-hmm. And show examples of how it could be done. And also, you need to know what needs to be prioritized, right? Because it could be like maybe 4 different tasks that they're all very important, but which one needs to be done first? I think that needs to be talked about. Through COVID, one of the things that I think we spent a little time talking about is how we were feeling, because it's important to support each other through these challenging times and kind of listening to each other and making sure that everybody's okay. I think it's important, not just now, but all the time.
What do you feel are some of your greatest strengths as a leader, and what are some of the challenges you've experienced as a leader?
Let me begin with a challenge. Without budget and support, it's really, a project could just really go down the drain and not be accomplished, right? So that's one challenge. And so sometimes within an institution, there's a lot of bureaucracy that, you need to kind of go through to get something done. And collaboration, sometimes it's a problem for some offices and others, right? And getting them to work with you could be a challenge. I think that could be a challenge if you're not clear in your purpose, right? And I think that's something maybe just kind of going to some of my strengths. One of the things that I like to do whenever I invite somebody to be part of our programs or collaborate with us, I want to have a meeting. I want everyone who's involved to be there, so that way we could communicate our purpose, what we need from them, what they need. We want them to tell us what they need from us, who else needs to be there, and so to get the things that we want to be done. So I think that I'm good at bringing people together. I will say that. I mean, I do think that that's one of my strengths, to bringing people together to discuss ideas and plan activities. I also think a lot of laughter is essential. That's one of my strengths. I'm a little chatty, so I think that gets people. I want to make people comfortable. I want to get to know people genuinely, like when I work with them. I do think that I'm able to bring people together.